So I've been following all of this online. What's going on with William Thompson now? Because in the last week it seems like the CDC is scrambling to cover it up again.
The question is about, there's a rumor floating right now that after sitting for a year and a half waiting to testify before Congress, that pressure may have come down from the CDC to get William Thompson to change his story on the MMR, and that he might even be being forced to sort of rig through or reanalyze the data that was supposedly thrown out by the CDC in order to exonerate the MMR vaccine. We don't have any proof of that taking place. It's a rumor, but it's the type of thing that you expect when you make a movie like this and you expose a government body and the pharmaceutical industry the way we just have. They have committed fraud and recruitment. And I believe that any attempt right now to rejigger a study that they should have stood behind if they believed in it, to go back 12 years and come out with some other excuse for the fraud they committed, in my mind, means we have won. We've got them on the run. We are now the ones in charge, and they were running from us instead of the other way around. So we say if that happens, and they're stupid enough to put that out in front of the public, then that will be the very chain that we wrap around their feet and send them to prison here.
We've been ignoring these people over on the right, so that's lady yes with the, yeah.
So I am a preschool teacher, and I work at a parent cooperative preschool where the parents are, come September, are very young. The ones who work in the classroom are also going to have to get their vaccine. And what they're saying is that they're going to need a measles and a whooping cough. So what they really are saying is that they're going to have to get the MMR, right?
Correct. So this is a question she has. She works for preschool. You know, preschool toddlers are all going to have to be vaccinated next year in order to go to the school. I think even the teachers and that's what you're talking about is the teachers and the volunteers are all going to have to get measles, covered for measles, you said, and whooping cough. And her question is that means they have to get the MMR, correct?
The DVT.
The DVT. Right, so they talk about, just like we talk about, they talk about 2 diseases, but they give you coverage for 6 diseases or 7 all at once. And, you know, the whooping cough vaccine is a joke. It just is a total failure. They've all but admitted it. And the fact that they're still making people take that thing, I find just horrible.
My advice is to take your amazing qualifications and stuff.
Thank you. I've been following along on this whole integrative medicine thing for many years now, so thank you for all that you're doing. But my question is, for the last few weeks, we've had if you're into holistic medicine and all that, the Truth for Cancer by Ty Bollinger, and also now the Food Summit. And what I've heard from the various scientists and doctors is that there's a possibility that autism is possibly in some sort of inflammation, and so if there's some detoxification that you can do or administer, it might alleviate or also possibly change the condition. What are your thoughts on this? Thank you.
Yeah, inflammation and derangement of the immune system are key to autism, and one of the first things we observed, based upon the parental story, is inflammatory bowel disease in these children, so inflammation in the gut. And detoxification is the mainstay of therapy at the moment, so it's entirely consistent with what you're saying, and that there's an abundance of information out there now to that effect.
I mean, part of the problem you have to understand is the entirety of most of the medical system is denying the fact that we have any sort of gut issues or inflammation leading to this problem at all. They're still calling it a psychiatric neurological disease. So imagine the amount of testing and study and money that should be going into not only stopping, making the vaccine safe, but also taking care of these children. We're in the dark ages here. One of the things as a filmmaker, sitting with Andy Wakefield in an editing bay for a year, the conversations I got to have, he hates when I say this, but we don't know a lot about this disease because all the studies Andy Wakefield was in the middle of doing got shut down. That's why they stripped his license, not because of the Lancet paper that really had nothing to do with this, but because he wasn't going to stop. He was attempting to evolve these products, evolve the way we raise our children and make us healthier, and the pharmaceutical industry did not want to pay for that. It was easier to destroy someone's career. So a lot of these answers we all wish we had. We've been robbed of it because we took away one of the greatest scientific minds of our times. We let the pharmaceutical industry destroy that. And so now we've got to regroup. We have to stand together now. Stand up together. And so no more.
In watching that, so my brother's autistic after some seizures, but we didn't figure that out for a long time because he's almost 50 now. But my son, who had the diagnosis of ADHD, I'm seeing similar behavior and frustration of communication, and that not as severe, but you can see it, and so you have to wonder how far this reaches beyond our autism. Just all kinds of other, smaller horrible things that we have to deal with that aren't as bad as autism, but I just wonder what your thoughts are about that.
Okay. Yeah, medicine presents you with the sharp end first, the worst cases. So you're quite right. If a child suddenly loses speech and communication, eye contact, starts falling over, then it's obvious to everybody that something's happened, except to some doctors perhaps. But that is the tip of the iceberg. And this is the point you make. And below that, there is a huge swathe of injuries that are not as serious, or not as obvious, or maybe more insidious in onset. So, what happens if you just shave 9 points off the average IQ of every American? How long would that take to discover? Well, it took Needleman a very long time, 20 years, to convince people that lead poisoning did exactly that. Now we all accept it. He was beaten down by the petrochemical industry and DuPont, everybody else. And he was right. And now it's just, yeah, okay, we know that lead does that. So what you see at the population level now is that they're recentering the SAT scores to make the same number of children pass because they're failing, and it's not across the board. It's not a systematic problem with the school system because girls aren't failing. Boys are failing. This is a biological effect, and exactly the same thing was seen with lead poisoning. There was a sex bias at different levels of lead exposure. So we are seeing a biological phenomenon which is dumbing down the nation, and boys are greatly impacted. The long-term consequence of that is clearly catastrophic. Two gentlemen over there, you behind, and then the gentleman with the beard in front.
Hang on, this
Oh, sorry.
running around with the microphone.
Oh, sorry, someone's got a microphone.
We need to get a
opportunity that you guys had to write to your congressman. And my position on that is that a lot of our politicians are paid off by Big Pharma. So how can we, as a group, have, it's been since 2015 that, sorry, I forgot the congressman, the Florida congressman went in front, went in front of Congress, and nothing's been done. So I thank you for making this movie, but how can we have a bigger impact and not necessarily have to rely on our corrupt politicians?
Yeah, I'm saying as someone just handed me Diane Feinstein's phone letter. I got one of these too when I wrote it to her. Basically saying, I really appreciate your point of view, but I'm not going to open up my mind and look at anything. It's incredible because if you think about it, this politician, Diane Feinstein, who I used to be a fan of, by the way, we have a whistleblower at the most important health agency in the world has come forward. This is a brand new story. This isn't about Andy Wakefield, it's not about polytomy. This is about one of our most important government scientists stepping forward and saying the MMR vaccine study is a fraud. How Dianne Feinstein can sit behind her desk and not address that for the American people is absolutely unbelievable to me. But, you know, you're right. We have to fire these people if they're not going to take care of our children. One of the ways that we accomplish that, believe it or not, is through this film. This film is scaring the hell out of every politician in this country. And the way you can do something to help us is I need you to go home. I need you to do two things. I need you to go on our newsletter and join our mailing list, because we are talking to very important congressional officials right now, congressmen, that are looking at calling William Thompson in and getting to the bottom of this fraud. But we need to be able to direct masses of people to the right place at the right time. And the only way we can get to you is if you put your emails and give us a way to contact on our website, so please go home and do that. And then number two, bring another friend, bring two friends, and fill this theater the rest of this week. Yeah. Because if you fill this theater, we keep getting requests from other theaters all over the country. We're expanding right now in 20 cities. I think we've got 10 more coming, and we hope to be in every city in the country within the next month. You do that, we can't do that. That's very important. Right now we have a cause, we have a mission, we have a movement. And the movement is around this film. And I don't take responsibility for that. Andy doesn't. In many ways, I think we all sat in awe of this film when it was finished and said, whoever or whatever made that happen, it has transcended all of our abilities. This is a film that was supposed to be there for the people, and now it's here. Please bring your friends. Don't be afraid to talk about it on Facebook. Don't be afraid to talk about it on Twitter. Go ahead.